Made in Hollywood.
The martial arts drama Karate Kid Legends, starring Ben Wong, Jackie Chan, and Ralph Macchio, is made in Hollywood.
The through line of the same themes, the same human themes that made the Karate Kid what it is today are there, and hopefully for a whole new generation.
Made in Hollywood.
Also on today's show, the bloody teen thriller Fear Street Prom Queen features Ariana Greenblatt.
We find all the characters in kind of the peak of high school drama, the peak of high school expectations and insecurities and all that fun stuff.
Plus, the Bronco riding drama The Last Rodeo stars Neil McDonough, the haunting thriller Presence features Lucy Liu, and Robbie Williams stars in his own musical biopic, Better Man. This week on Made in Hollywood.
Made in Hollywood.
The latest chapter in the beloved martial arts saga, Karate Kid Legends, featuring Ben Wong, Jackie Chan, and Ralph Macchio, follows a kung fu prodigy who must blend ancient wisdom with new skills to survive a high-stakes karate showdown.
You knew Mr. Miyagi?
I did not come looking for Sensei Miyagi. I came looking for you.
The character of Daniel LaRusso is near and dear to the world. He has become a piece of pop culture. The original films, very few have that kind of staying power. And then through the Cobra Kai series and how that sort of exploded then leads us to, okay, how do we connect these worlds?
I have seen all of the Karate Kid movies multiple times. I grew up watching them with my dad. They were a staple in my home. I don't think I've ever been cooler to him than when I booked the Karate Kid movie.
I saw Jackie's Karate Kid film when I was in elementary school, like in a theater with my mom, and shortly thereafter I started doing after-school martial arts.
Lee means to me what you meant to Sensei Miyagi.
When I was a stunt guy, there's a martial art movie, action movie not popular anymore. Then suddenly Karate Kid comes out. We buy the ticket, we go in, we watch all my friends. Yes, wow. You know, that brings you up. Suddenly another movie, Rocky, comes out. That brings me up again. The two movies brings me back to training with all my friends. So I really thank you, Rocky, and you. And after so many years later, Will Smith called me, Jackie, I want you to make a Karate Kid. I said, me? I'm not kid anymore. He said, no, you are Miyagi. I said, oh.
Sensei LaRusso.
Let's make a Karate Kid.
Jackie's, legendary in his career and his stunt work as an actor, personality in the industry, so well respected, and so that was just like anytime you have the opportunity to work with an element of greatness, I'll take it.
Now, 14 years later, on the set, and when I see him, I just don't believe it. Wow, that's Daniel. We work together. Now we becoming a Miyagi. He becoming a Jackie Chan and Daniel.
This represents the history between the two families. Two branches, one tree. This is why I came to train you.
It's a really cool feeling to feel like you're cemented in history as part of this iconic franchise and this legacy.
Really exciting for me to get to be the center of this next part and to bring the two film universes together.
There's a lot of boxes to check, but there's organic stories to tell for a fresh new generation and a different style. Yet the through line of the same themes, the same human themes that made the Karate Kid what it is today are there, and hopefully for a whole new generation.
Now available on your home screen. A gutsy outsider shakes up prom season at Shadyside High when popular girls start vanishing in the bloody teen thriller Fear Street Prom Queen, starring Ariana Greenblatt.
Coming to you live from Shadyside High. Only 2 days to go until senior prom, and anything could happen. Gotcha.
We find all the characters in kind of the peak of high school drama, the peak of high school expectations and insecurities and all that fun stuff. And I think all the characters just have so many layers and depth to them.
This is the new shady side, the promise of a bright future. This is your chance to fulfill that promise.
This film does a lot to pay homage to, the teen film. Having a group of mean girls, having the character that you're kind of following along on their journey. But I also think what's so special about Prom Queen is that it does all of that and then flips it on its head because it's this wild slasher horror.
It's shady side. When's it all going to go wrong?
It's senior year and things are winding down, and I think Melissa's kind of at this crossroads of sort of looking at herself and realizing high school isn't forever. I really wanted to kind of exemplify like what it must feel like to know what's right and what might make your life feel a little better in the moment.
I know how it sounds. A whole bunch of people have disappeared.
She is a bit of an audience surrogate, She's questioning everything. She's noticing when people go missing, and I think what makes her perfectly suited is her loyalty to her best friend is what drives her to find that out.
How do we get out of here?
Wowzers.
This is a very special night, and someone is ruining it. Put the music back on.
I think there's nothing more vulnerable than being in high school and having an identity crisis and not knowing who you are or who you even want to be.
Yeah.
But you would rather have the status of having a group. It's protection at the end of the day. And I think at a vulnerable age, you need that.
Yeah.
You need that. She's just going about it in a pretty vicious way.
Where are all the prom queens?
It's a great movie to watch with a group of your horror friends. There's so many possibilities on who the killer could be, and I love movies like that where you can watch them with a group of people and commentate on it throughout the journey.
I'm excited for people to really be able to root for these two outcasts. Without them, it wouldn't be the movie that it is.
You having a good night?
Coming up, the Bronco riding drama The Last Rodeo stars Neil McDonough, and the haunting thriller Presence features Lucy Liu. To find out where to watch any movie, scan the QR code so you can get notified to download the new Movie Phone app.
So exciting for the audience to see what I see in Neil. To see a guy everybody knows. He's so good as a villain. Now he's the leading man, and he is sensational.
Made in Hollywood. Made in Hollywood.
A retired rodeo legend defies age and danger to try to save his grandson and heal his family in the heartfelt drama The Last Rodeo, featuring Neil McDonough.
He's good.
Not as good as you.
Not as good as I was.
You nearly killed yourself riding bulls, and you wonder why I don't want my son following in your footsteps.
About 12 years ago, when I wouldn't do a certain scene, an intimate scene, I got fired, and for 2 years I couldn't get a job, and everything was just taken away from me. My house, my cars, and the kids. I drank myself silly for about 2 years straight, wallowing in self-pity. And that's where the idea began with Joe Wainwright, as he went through such hard times when he lost his wife. And then this idea came from, write a movie about Rocky on a bull for a grandfather who has to go and save his grandson because he's dying from the same brain tumor that his wife died of. It's like, where did that come from?
It's just a concussion, right?
It's a brain tumor.
Your insurance will only cover roughly 40%. Are you going to be able to pay the difference? It could be $150,000.
My job was to take Neil's script, which he had given me, that he had written with Derek, and he had said very generously, make it your own. And then they didn't know anything about bull riding. So there were a lot of things they did, and they went, well, we just made that up. I went, okay.
And Sean Gleason, the head of PBR, was like, no, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. That's not right.
PBR Legends Championship is this weekend. $1 million for first place.
Have you lost your mind? You will not get on that bull.
Well, that went well.
Yeah, very. John worked really hard in making sure these PBR sequences were true, were energetic, were awesome, were fantastic, and boy, did he do it.
Yeah, our goal was, one, to be authentic, right? and two, to do something no one's ever seen. Because you can't shoot the way we did when you're doing something live.
Can the legend, Joe Wainwright, keep up with our current champions?
He could die out there.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the PBR Legends Championship.
This is a real problem because this Irish lug here, this baby brother of mine here, you know,
He does this all
he's
day.
such a
He just
great
punches me.
actor. He can do pretty much anything. And I was so pleased that he had written something where he was a leading man. So I thought, you know, it's going to be so exciting for the audience to see what I see in Neil. You know, to see a guy everybody knows. He's so good as a villain. Now he's the leading man, and he is sensational.
I've never played the hero and kissed a girl in the end. I do now.
This could be Joe Wainwright's last ride. Here we go! Fearless.
Now available on Blu-ray. A family becomes convinced they are not alone after moving into their new suburban home in the supernatural thriller Presence, directed by Steven Soderbergh and starring Lucy Liu and Chris Sullivan.
What's it like?
What's what like?
I never had anybody die.
Scary.
It was really a dream come true working with Steven. And working in this way, in this experimental fashion with this one camera being the audience and the presence was wonderful.
You knew you were in the most capable hands. Like if anybody was gonna try this and it was gonna work, Steven Soderbergh was gonna make it work, and he has. And it's one of the scariest movies that's been released in a long time.
Working with Steven, really, it was very much like a dance. Even at the beginning of the film, he told us all, hey, you know, I'm very much experimenting here, and so you're gonna kind of just have to come with me on this ride, and let's hope that it works.
It felt like all of my scenes with the presence was actually a scene with Steven, as he is holding the camera and he is maneuvering and moving around the space. So we had to work together.
The world cracks apart. You fall into this hole.
I think the character is not concerned with what other people think about her. And I think she is very particular about her affection towards her son. That dialogue that she has with him is almost like the horror movie itself.
I would say what's really interesting in the movie is you do kind of get these two kind of opposite dynamics between the mother and the son and the father and the daughter. It was a lot of fun to explore, and I did it with the best actors to do it with.
And the sides are mud, and you can't get out.
We had seen like almost none of the monitor footage, so you have no idea how this is all gonna look. You don't realize, or at least I didn't, that how wide the lens is, how much it's capturing, and it's just incredible to watch the actual movie after you've shot it and be like, oh, this feels like you're actually living with the characters themselves.
It just makes it that much more fun and interesting that you're taking a risk with somebody who you find to be such an inspiration in that world of cinema.
To find out where to watch any movie, scan the QR code so you can get notified to download the new MoviePhone app. Up next, Robbie Williams stars in his own musical biopic, Better Man.
The unusual thing about my life is I talk about everything, and not only do I talk about everything, it's projected for the world to see.
Made in Hollywood. Made in Hollywood.
Now available on Blu-ray. The biopic Better Man follows the meteoric rise and dramatic fall of pop music icon Robbie Williams.
I'm Robbie Williams. I'm one of the biggest pop stars in the world. But I've always seen myself a little less evolved.
The thing I loved about the stories, which is why Rob's voiceover is in the final film, is that I always loved the way in which Rob expressed his own narrative. He has a very wonderful way of telling a story, whether that's through his lyrics or whether he's just talking. I think as a person, he is quite unique. And so I just thought there should be something a little more surprising in the way that we present the film.
Do I look like a pop star to you?
I wouldn't change a hair on your head.
And through it, I know Michael, and people know him from his work, outside of The Greatest Showman too, and they know he's a genius. And the fact that he asked me and thought that I was a viable option to do this, it was just too much of a good opportunity to pass.
I had a really great conversation with Michael Gracie, our director, early on, where he basically said, don't worry about the monkey. Just let me and Weta handle that afterwards. I want you to play it as if it was your face on screen. And so just bring your version of this pop star to life.
Michael made sure that Nicole was involved and she had approval on how we told her story, as did Rob. And then it was up to us to make sure that we honored that and then honored the story that we were doing. So it all sort of layers into itself.
My dad was well enamored by the stars of the day.
You can't learn it. You're either born with it or you're a nobody.
The typical Northern English family dynamic is that we don't talk about anything. And the unusual thing about my life is I talk about everything, and not only do I talk about everything, it's projected for the world to see.
Don't want to be a nobody.
Contemplate my fate. You're enough.
The mocap technology, Weta made it very seamless. In fact, the technical side of it never interrupted anything performance-wise, and they were just incredible. They were incredible, the artists that came on board, but also the on-set crew that we had, capturing all of that data that ended up being the performance of the monkey, all based on Jono Davies.
Jono Davies! It was such a great way to work. You don't have to worry about vanity when you're doing motion capture, so you don't have to worry what you look like, which is amazing. You just get to be truthful to your impulses. So you do all the work beforehand, and then you're really just trying to focus on playing, and that's something that Michael loved to promote.
There's an angel. We're very fortunate to have a real-life rock star. So he threw multiple concerts, and so they were real crowds, and it feels like real crowds.
I believe in you.
It's been all of the feels, Michael. That's been an honor and such an incredible opportunity for me, my family, my career, my life, my ego, my sense of self-worth. It's been all of the above.
So, the story starts.
I'm loving angels instead.
Stay tuned, there's more coming up on Made in Hollywood.
Made in Hollywood.
Thanks for watching Made in Hollywood, powered by MoviePhone. For more behind-the-screen content, check out MoviePhone.com.
Hollywood. Made in Hollywood. Made in Hollywood.